Just mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J. Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, but he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones.
6 minutes.
For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the Spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her and I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you gonna bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it.
The SEC is God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should.
Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now.
Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Friday, November 22nd. How's everybody feeling today? It's been a long conversation. Lloyd, our producer, has been very tired. He's been tirelessly just giving you news, news cycle after news cycle after news cycle.
News.
Noons?
No, news, not just, enunciate.
Yeah.
I don't want that out there.
And I think noons, some people are going to be boycotting some of the high noons around this weekend.
Open to all sponsorships.
Because Michigan dropped the bag, came in with a little extra money. You got where I was going there?
Uh-huh.
Yep, dropped the bag, got a little extra money, gave it to Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood has been committed to LSU for 300 days, which obviously everybody at this point already knows has decommitted and committed to Michigan 2 days before signing day. Reportedly offered $12 million.
Signing day is the 4th, December 4th. 2 weeks.
Oh, did I say 2 days?
Yeah.
Oh, 2 weeks. My bad.
2
2
days
weeks.
might hurt
Yeah,
more.
2 weeks before signing day. Rumor is he signed for $12 million, which is a lot of money. And listen, before we get into the whole doomsday scenario and LSU's not good and they might as well just fire everybody and restart and it's over and all this kind of stuff, before we even start talking about that, I don't blame the kid. $12 million is a lot of money. And if they're going to give me $12 million coming out of high school, I'm going to take the $12 million. And you can say, oh, we know development, all this kind of stuff. All of that, great. That all matters. The $12 million is life-changing money, right? It's not like you got two, right, which is still a lot of money. He got $12 million, right, to go to Michigan. Good for him. Sucks for us. But you move on, right? It's one player, obviously number one recruit in the country. You don't want to miss him. He's probably going to be really good, but you don't know yet. You would assume he's going to be good, right? All the reports are, oh, he's the best quarterback we've seen in a long time. He does all this kind of stuff. He's played high school football in Michigan, fine, right? But he's still got to go out there and he's still got to play and he's still got to perform at a high level at one of the better conferences in the country. We shall see. I think he's going to be good, but everybody, let's just take a step back and say, okay, how do we move on from this? If you say, oh, this is going to ruin everything, then you might as well just hang it up and every time somebody decommits from you and just quit. How do you figure this thing out? Well, I think number one thing is full court press, which I think they were already doing on Nussmeier, bring him back. And I know people are probably rolling their eyes on the other side of their screens, but we need it. Got to have a veteran quarterback for multiple reasons, which we'll get into. Me and Jared are talking about this before the show. But I think the full court press to bring him back is obviously happening right now. And I think a lot of people have forgot maybe the most talented quarterback in the quarterback room in Colin Hurley. Everybody was like, everybody wants the shiniest new thing, which was Bryce Underwood, obviously number one recruit in the entire country. But let's not forget Colin Hurley before he reclassified to enroll in school early as a 16-year-old or however old he was. He was one of the top quarterbacks in this class that Bryce Underwood is currently in. And so he's been on campus for a year. He's obviously understood it. He's learned the college lifestyle. He's learned the playbook. And so he's already here. I'd imagine that competition is going to ramp up next year. So let's not forget about the guys that we have already on the team and in the quarterback room. But with that said, it still sucks. It's not good optics. Does not look good. Hopefully LSU can keep their recruiting class intact. We'll talk more about that as the show goes on. LSU basketball. They're 3-0 on the road. Biggest game of the year so far. They're playing on the road. I guess it's in not far from Pittsburgh. It's about an hour. And they're playing University of Pittsburgh today. University of Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh Panthers.
I know, but what's the
I think it's University of Pittsburgh.
Is it University?
UP.
Is it UP?
Yeah.
Okay.
Penn State.
So they're playing Pittsburgh, right? In wherever they're playing in this tournament, obviously Pittsburgh and the KenPom, your guy, his rankings, I think they're like top 15 in the KenPom rankings. So this is obviously a really big challenge for them. They tip off in 19 minutes, 1:30 on on SEC Network, I think, or CBS Sports Network is where they're playing. We have the TV on right now watching them once they tip off. So hopefully they can kind of bring some good positive news to the LSU faithful. And obviously, even though Bryce Underwood is gone and there's been a lot of negativity around the LSU football program right now because they're on a 3-game losing streak, you lose your top recruit, you do have a game this weekend. You do have one. It's kind of a big one. I know you're not really playing for anything else right now other than pride and keeping this program moving forward, right? And part of moving forward is winning games. And this weekend is against Vanderbilt at home. Vanderbilt has been the cellar dweller of the SEC for a really long time. They are not that this year. They are very competitive, and they are bowl eligible. They've beaten Alabama, almost beat Texas. Obviously a formidable opponent, and they have a quarterback who has a skill set that LSU has really struggled with this year. Obviously running around, extending plays, a mobile quarterback, hasn't been really good. Anxious to see how LSU defends him, anxious to see what the energy that they bring, anxious to see the type of game that they have. I would imagine that they are going to right the ship and win this weekend. I think they're 7.5-point favorites. What?
I can't read it.
What?
I can't read it on air.
Oh.
It's funny. For me to say that.
Yeah. Don't read it. If you said you can't read it on air, don't read it. LSU 7.5-point favorites this weekend. And so we're going to talk a little bit about, obviously, the game, preview of the game we want to see. I think it's more about LSU than what is Vanderbilt going to do. It's, hey, how is LSU going to play and who's going to show up and what LSU team is going to show up. And then we're obviously going to talk mic'd up parlays because we are back in the winning column. And I think we got a good one this week. Lloyd tried. He wanted to go Vandy. but he thought better of it and did not.
Love conquers all.
I do like our parlay this week, and that's a problem because we liked the one 2 weeks ago and
That one
didn't
still
win.
should have hit. Lost by
That one still should have hit.
Lost by combined 2 points.
No doubt. All right, let's talk about this Vandy game first before we really get into the gambling conversation and everything else. Well, actually, before we get to Vandy, let's talk Underwood. Right? Let's talk where they need to go now. Right? Everybody's automatically assuming they got to go out and bring in another top tier quarterback. Yeah, sure, you got to go out. There's some guys out there that are uncommitted, and you go out there and you try to put the full court press on them in 2 weeks, or hopefully they don't sign until the February signing day. I think you have enough talent right now in the quarterback room to get by. Obviously, you want to bring in another guy, but I think this makes it even that much more important to bring back Nussmeier, right? And we talked about a couple reasons outside of him coming back and coming for his second year and being an experienced guy. You're going to go out and get guys out the portal, right? I would imagine they're going to go out and probably get another experienced wide receiver or two out of the portal. I would imagine they're going to go get experienced offensive linemen out of the portal. If you're an experienced wide receiver and I was recruiting you and I was courting you to come here and transfer and play at LSU, are you more likely to come to LSU if I had a freshman quarterback who's never played, or a redshirt freshman quarterback who's never started, or a 6-year senior quarterback who has the ability to get the ball to you at any part in the field and is on his second year as a starter?
If you're coming in as a wide receiver, you're probably looking for, if it makes any sense, first off, where are you age-wise? Or am I draft eligible now? Because if I'm draft eligible now, I want to look for something that's stable and already going. So if it's stable, that means you probably got the same OC in there. That probably means you also have the same quarterback in there. I would want to play with guys like that or a situation like that because I know things in there are not new and we're not trying to figure it out. Because if it's new and we're trying to figure it out, there's a good chance that it's going to take us some weeks into the season to actually start figuring it out. So I'm probably looking for stuff like that. If I'm a younger kid, if let's say I'm a redshirt freshman, let's say I'm a redshirt sophomore, whatever it is, like I'm a younger kid that is not about to be up on my draft year, I may be looking for a Bryce Underwood. I may be looking for the guy that's coming in. But also LSU's at a spot, especially going into next year, where wins are at a premium. Wins is what you need, and you need guys that are ready to play at that point. So with that being said, when I think of the Bryce Underwood situation, does it probably suck for the future? Yes. Can Colin Hurley and or Ricky Collins and or whoever else may be under him elevate themselves and be ready to play and be an impact player for him? Yes, as well, right? But I would also think that LSU was doing everything that they could in terms of doing right by him, for one, but also, two, they wanted Nussmeier to be back next
No
year.
doubt.
And I don't care if that was Bryce coming or not. I think that was something they probably wanted anyway, because let's be honest about it, if we think back and you just go look back over the course of the SEC, good luck trying to find a freshman starting in this league on a very good winning top 5 type team.
Right, true freshman.
Good luck finding one of those. That is far in between. It's not easy to find, and it's good luck finding that. So I don't think that they were really sitting on, hopefully, that Bryce Underwood was the starter from day one next year anyway. So, in that sense, that's where kind of that whole thing is. But, make no mistake about it, in my mind, losing a guy like that for what it can do going forward for your team and getting other young kids to come in, it does hurt. It hurts them.
What does this say? What's this mean for Sloan?
The door's open, man.
Because we talked about it on
we
Wednesday
talked
before
about
it
it,
happened.
and we also thought that having a Bryce Underwood was something that was supremely going to keep him for sure in the fold. I'm not here to call for anyone's job. I don't know anything about it. I have no conversations going on. But let's just say if things were to continue going like they're going, quote unquote, right now, and I'm not even saying that means a loss. Let's just say they don't play well offensively over the next couple games. Let's just say, I'm just throwing it out there.
Right.
I do think there's a lot of face saving that ends up happening in situations like this, and I would imagine his name would get thrown into the maybe hot seat or maybe not. Now, once again, if you're able to get Nussmeier back, there's a lot of reason for you to keep him here as well. But that would be a situation where, all right, we don't have the quarterback, we don't have that number one guy. We maybe Nuss is going, maybe he's not. We have to make a move to make everyone seem like and make everyone understand that we are trying to do what we can to rectify the situation.
Right.
You would imagine that means he's possibly one of those guys. I'm not calling for his job. That's not where I'm at on this thing. I'm just saying, like, I think with this quarterback being gone, it does open the door for what we thought maybe probably wasn't the possible. Who knows?
Yeah. What do you think, Lloyd?
About Joe Sloan?
About the whole situation?
I think that Jared made a good point on Wednesday, the last time we spoke about this, which was Bryce Underwood was your ace card if you're Sloan, and that was something that he could always hold near and dear to his heart. Like if these conversations started to happen, if the offense started to slip, it's like, well, I've got this generational quarterback out of high school coming. This offense that I want to run is kind of tailored towards him. Give me a beat to get him in the building. We'll develop him, and that's what the big calling card of LSU has been lately is that was the whole thing for Bryce Underwood was look at the development at LSU. Look what happened from Joe Burrow from 2018 to 2019, Jane Daniels 22 to 23. I want to be in that system where look at what they've done in the league. All of these things made sense, right? Mm-hmm. And now Sloan doesn't have the ability to say that, hey, the guy that I want, the guy that I recruited is on the way. So I would imagine that you put all hands on deck to make sure you get Nussmeier back, but he also, if he's going to stay, you have to revamp what you're running a little bit. But in that same breath, I think that there's I don't know if Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan actually get along that well.
Time out. Can I just do this real quick? Because you've been on this big, and I don't subscribe to any of that at all.
Subscribe to the show.
Lloyd is
subscribe to the show.
Lloyd is at a point right now where he thinks if we're running a spread type of offense, it is only tailored for running quarterbacks. And guess what? If I look around the entire league, there ain't many people that's getting under center. So are we now saying that the Joe Burrows are no longer a good quarterback? Is that basically where we're at? Because guess what? Joe Burrow is running a very similar type of offense. That guy went 1-1, and that guy's doing pretty good in the league, and he's running the same similar type of offense where he ain't under center much. So I guess my point to it is just because it's a spread does not mean it is tailored for guys that can run. It just means that there's a higher premium at taking care of the football
Scheme in the offensive play calling and what they're trying to do. I think that needs to be a little bit more tailored to making those reads and those progressions a little bit easier. Because listen, Nuss, it's been very well documented that Nuss has a very good football brain. Right? He understands concepts. He understands what they're trying to do, and they're giving him a lot of responsibility kind of at the line of scrimmage and in the huddle and all that kind of, which is always good for a quarterback, right? But sometimes you got to take a step back and say, all right, let me just simplify this thing because we're trying to do too much. We don't have game-winning receivers on the outside right now. We don't have guys who are going to win on one-on-one battles. It's just the reality of the situation. So with that being said, you've got to figure out ways to make that.
Guys. You got guys that are going to win, but you don't have guys that strike fear in the other side's heart yet. You just don't have that yet, and that is what it is. I'm not saying that you don't have good pieces. I'm not saying that you don't have players that can make plays. You just don't have guys that are literally striking fear. And so if you don't have that, nobody feels like they need to really help anywhere, which hinders you as an offense because you don't have that matchups and that numbers advantage anymore.
Yeah, no, 100%. But what they're trying to do in the portal this offseason, I think bringing Nussmeier back is a huge priority, right? I think bringing him back gives the team going into next year, it makes it a lot more favorable for these guys coming in to play with a guy who they know that's going to be able to get him the football, right? You get open, I'm going to get you the football, right? And offensive linemen saying, all right, well, I know that if I protect the quarterback that we have the ability to win every game, when I think everybody would agree to that. If Nussmeier is right, you have the ability to win any game that you play, right? Now you got to protect him. You got to make sure that he's making the right read, not turning the ball over. And he did that for most of the season. His last 3 games have not been good, and everybody's going to say, well, those are the 3 hardest games he's played in the year. Yeah, sure. For sure. But I think this is his first year starting. I think he's going to continue to get better.
I'll also say this, too, about Nussmeier. I think people forget about this, too. I think it's very imperative that you bring him back because I do think that there was somewhat of a narrative that between freshmen coming in and between maybe transfer portal guys that you would have coming in, they could sell themselves and or you could sell them that Bryce Underwood would be the starter and they would be all on that train still wanting to come. Now, this is I'm not saying anything bad about the guys that did not start here at quarterback this year, but the same mindset could be, well, how you want me to come in with this guy who couldn't even start over the guy that's got 10 picks? Right. So if he's not here for whatever the reason may be, it's harder to bring in other players because now this becomes the unknown. This becomes, well, I don't know, is he better than that guy? I don't know if he can get it to him. That guy started over him. I don't know. Because if you take off the LSU goggles and look around the country, does it make it any better than other spots that these guys might be going to? I'm not sure it does. So that getting Nussmeier back here is someone that they know is a gunslinger, that they know will throw it around, that they know knows his offense, is huge to get him back in the fold because it gives you comfortability and it gives you a sense of, well, I know what the possibility is there if I go there, as opposed to I don't know what the hell going on over there.
Yeah.
And I think you brought up another good point on Wednesday is, especially with the Sloan conversation, I don't know what's going to happen. But if you're Garrett Nussmeier and you obviously have the dad that he does who knows very much the NFL and the league and how to get prepared, which would lead to, you would think, LSU year 1 to year 2, you get a lot better, right? Like that's just, you need more reps. Now, like you said on Wednesday, what would stop you from going to the draft instead of a situation at LSU where it could be a new coordinator, 4 new people on the offensive line, you don't really know what you have at receiver. Like it's an entire situation in which you're like, well, I could get out of here.
I think you're gonna see a lot of that's gonna materialize over the next 2 weeks, right? These last 2 games of the season, how they finish the games, what he looks like finishing the games, how the offense is moving, what Joe Sloan's doing. Like, I'm not saying Joe Sloan's really coaching for his life because I think that's, like I said, I'm not in a position to say that. But if they go out there these next 2 weeks, I don't care if it's against 2 opponents that maybe that are way less skilled than the opponents that they have played the last 3 weeks. But if they go out there and they play well and the offense is kind of humming and they're doing the things that they need to do and they're scoring touchdowns, it's going to take a little bit of the sting out of the last 3 weeks. They hopefully can keep most of this recruiting class intact. And they go into signing day 2 weeks from now, sign a class that's still ranked in the top 10, hopefully bring in some more guys, right? Then start adding on that transfer portal. And maybe Nuss looks at him and is like, all right, listen, I'm going to come back. I like where we're going. I see what the vision is for next year, and I'm going to give this thing one more run. He's waited this long. Why not start for 2 more years? NFL is going to be there next year. Like, they know what you are. So, I don't know.
Well, they know everyone else, but if it gets better, if it's like the first half of what,
if it gets better,
then you get drafted much higher.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I will say this too. I think for everyone else on the Bryce Underwood train, as soon as that $10.5 million number came out there, you were kind of crazy to think that he was going to stay. Like you have to think of it outside of where you're at. Like once again, you take off the LSU goggles and you just look at it for what it is. Take whatever it is that you are doing as a profession or as a job, and now you own what is called the open market of that job. And there's one place that's offering you triple of what the top offer is somewhere else. There's not many people or many situations where you're going to be like, yeah, that's not the better situation for me. And then in this case, when that money happens to be legit, life-changing, breadwinner, my family's good type of money, you're crazy to think he wasn't going to take that opportunity. I don't care what he said the night after or retweeted and or put on his story or any of that. That's no different than you being in a relationship with a girlfriend and she heard you went on a date with another girl and she came to you about it and you're like, yeah, that never happened. Oh, come on, I'm with you. Of course he wasn't going to tell her right then and there. That's exactly what he did. I'm not surprised about it at all.
Right.
I have no hate because I understand it. And you know, like I know it, you're on a free market and somebody's offering you triple of market price. Everybody, there's not many people that's not taking that situation. And then you sit there and you think of it, well, if they got that, then they obviously got the resources and everything I need to get me to the next level as well. So, of course, that guy went. And so that is what it is, and you let that go to being what it is.
They put together, Michigan was undeniable in this. They have, this is just the 2023 Forbes list. 5 Michigans makes Forbes list of wealthiest Americans. You know who makes the Forbes list? That would be Nate Forbes, the chairman. of what is going on at Michigan, so they have unlimited money.
And that's a whole nother conversation that we don't have time right now to talk about.
Or the money.
Apparently. So,
we have the people.
Louisiana, LSU needs to have the guys that have the money, like the fuck you money, to go out there and start giving it to LSU.
Make the money moves and not the business moves.
And look, it's not necessarily the greatest business decisions for them as a businessman because you're not really going to get the return on your investment.
Right.
Outside of LSU being good or potentially being good, because even then. They have a chance of it's not guaranteed they're going to go out.
It's not a great business move.
Right.
Let's just be honest about it.
You're giving money away.
It's not a business move, really. At the end of the day.
It's philanthropy.
It's charity.
Yeah,
It's charity.
Uh-huh.
And so that is for LSU to be able to compete with all these other schools that are offering these types of things. I'm not saying, listen, this Underwood situation, the money that he got, that's playing a dangerous game for the future of
college football.
It's all going to end up
getting capped
at a certain. But to give a high school kid who hasn't played one single down in college $12 million, that's wild.
It is wild,
right?
It's a different time.
Right, and so you have LSU doesn't have the money to compete. A lot of schools don't have the money to give $12 million to a quarterback.
But a lot of schools do.
But they have enough money to give to Ohio State's roster is constructed of $20 million of NIL, right? LSU doesn't have that. LSU doesn't even have half that. Maybe half that. Maybe.
Depends on the stock market.
Now, this is where, you have revenue sharing coming up. They're doing a bunch of different things to where they're trying to, I don't want to say even the playing field, but make it a little bit more competitive.
Get money from your biggest money maker.
Here, I will say this, and we kind of talked about this too, which is I'm going to just go ahead and get this cat out of the bag real quick. People don't understand this is whatever that salary cap comes in at, whenever it comes in, everything that used to happen before NIL was open wide up, it's going to go right back to this at a higher number.
McDonald's bags.
At the exact bigger number because they're going to be like, well, these dudes was making this. This is what the cap is. But, if y'all can't find ways to get there, somebody else will. And if we have to do it under the table, that's pretty much how it's going to go at the end of the day. But there will be a cap number, and that's kind of how it's going to be played, and everyone's going to try to play to that. But that bag that they opened up and not having any kind of anything parameters on when it comes to the NIL stuff, that has forever changed what ball is, and there is so much money thrown into this stuff now.
Yeah.
It's Major League Baseball. There's no cap.
No cap. No luxury tax either.
No.
Which makes it better than Major League
Makes
Baseball.
it better. There's no fines.
Yep.
So you're going to start seeing that.
And there is the under the table, whereas in Major League, there is none of that.
Yeah.
Right.
But obviously this was not the intended result of NIL, but how could you not see it would get here? And this was the domino that I think we all kind of saw falling. It's not going to be kids in the transfer portal. What's stopping you from giving money to high school kids?
Well, it was at the NIL. The whole conversation was the portal, right? I'm gonna leave and go get more money, and then it turned into quickly, oh, now it's pay for play.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay you to come play, even though you haven't done anything on the field yet. You did really good. Hey, you're the number one quarterback in the country. You're the number one recruit in the country. You played against high school competition in Michigan. High school football in Michigan, right? And I'm not saying this is not me trashing him. I'm not saying he's not good because I think he's really good. But to give a kid $12 million to go to your school for playing high school football in a state
Belleville
that, look, maybe they have good high school football, but I wouldn't call it the Mecca of high school football. It's not Georgia. It's not Texas. It's not Florida. It's not any of those schools. Not the quarterbacks coming out of California, which is known to have all these top tier quarterbacks that develop.
There's no reason to even sit here and debate whether he's that good or whether he's not that good. Look, the people who have decided to give him this money,
they believe he's that good.
Well, it doesn't matter. They've talked to people. They've talked to, hey, what do you think about him? What does he look like? At the end of the day, you're no longer making a business decision to do it this way,
right?
Because you're not gaining from it. So until you have the alumni or the bases or the donors, however you want to call it, to sit here and say this is no longer a business decision that I'm really going to profit from. I am literally just giving to the school that I love, or the school that gave me so much, or the school that gave me an opportunity because this is how I grew. It's not going to be the same as some other places. It's just really that simple.
No doubt.
Like, that's what it is.
And I guess my whole point is just the fact that they're giving that money to that. What if he goes there and he stinks?
Well,
You know, like, what if he goes there and he just, hey, I'm super
But
talented.
the thing is
but
that's
I
the way of
can't
the world.
figure it out.
Everybody's saying that today about Daniel Jones. Like, he came up at a time where he was going to be the next one up for a contract, and they said, hey.
I know, and he had a good year the year before he
My
did
point,
it.
okay,
for
so
sure.
my point is they said, hey, well, we got to give him $100 million. So,
Based off of
Right.
the market value of what it is there and
Right.
based off his performance
Right.
that 1 year. You're basing this off of what could be.
No. Time out. First off, if you're telling the truth about Daniel Jones, it wasn't based off of truly off of. They saw, hey, this is what he's doing this year, but if he keeps going,
No, right.
we got to pay him that
get
much
it-
more.
No doubt.
get him
So
on a
we
deal.
pay him. Yeah. So they didn't pay him just off of his performance. They paid him off of.
No,
well, if we
a
do
bunch
it
of
now,
different things.
he don't get to free agents. He don't get to the free market.
Right.
We ain't got to pay him the top.
But-
so that's my point. It's like at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter like what the numbers are because that's what this thing is. They see you as you did this in high school. You're doing this in all these 707s, which 707 is what it is today, bro.
I understand.
Like, it is
but,
what it is.
But my whole thing is that doesn't always relate to college. Like, that doesn't always, like, NIL is name, image, and likeness based off what you do
Yeah,
on
but
the
it's not what
field.
it is anymore.
I know
mean,
that,
You just have
but
to stop thinking that way.
I understand that, but that's what they're going to try to bring it. They're going to try to. They're not going to happen.
He's already signed a merchandising deal with Michigan.
But it's not.
Because you have to save face.
I-
somehow.
look,
Like, this
look,
isn't illegal.
He could go out there and just tank. What if he goes out and gets a
It's
you know.
okay. Well, now, I mean, what's the difference between signing somebody out of college for an NFL team? Like,
Yeah,
you're
that's why I brought up the Daniel Jones thing because like if
You're
you sit
betting
there and
on
say,
potential.
he's got $100 million in the bank right now. Like,
I understand that, but you don't have the guys that are getting. You're not unless you're a first or second round, third round pick. You're not getting $12 million to sign in the NFL. After the third round, you're not getting a $12 million deal.
I know, but this is a first round. This is 1-1. This is
This
Jamarcus
isn't
Ru-
1-1. This is a high school guy that potentially could be 1-1.
No, I'm saying this.
You're
is 1-1.
getting
this is 1-1
drafted-
This is 1-1 in college.
You are getting
He's getting
drafted
first round.
Yeah, but but listen to me. The gap between the competition in college and the competition in professional football is a lot smaller than the gap between high school football and major college football. It doesn't always translate either way. But if you have more of a I don't know what I'm trying to say. You have more of you've seen more of this guy in college after he goes there with the competition that he's played and the type of talent that he's played against and the results that he had and all the other things that you're going through, meetings, you're going through the testing, you're going through the conversations with him outside. You have more detailed information than them coming out of college than you do coming out of high school.
so let me hit you with this. You're right. I think you're right in every other position excluding the quarterback. The only reason I say that is because reading defenses, making throws, that's literally like, hey, do you have 96 in the tank or do you not? We can teach you how to put it on the black, but is it in there? This is no longer like, to me, the quarterback position is, I'm not running routes against the best player. I'm not the one that has to take the hit over the middle against and see if I can get up and do it again. Yeah, maybe I have to stand in the pocket. I need that toughness too, but it's a little bit different than the rest of the positions, in my opinion. I do think when it comes down to evaluating a quarterback, his arm talent, his ability, to kind of learn a defense, it's not the same as running routes and or guarding the best receiver and or going against the best lineman or the other way around.
I understand that, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I do think the quarterback position is completely different. But I do believe that when you're coming out of high school, the way you're reading different defenses and the way that the guy, your top receiver is going up against a cornerback who may not ever play
You're right, but what you're missing is all these guys too now coming out. They got the Patrick Mahomes quarterback coaches. They're not just doing.
But that's not what I don't. You can have the most. He's the most talented guy out there. I'm not disagreeing with that. But so just because you're talented, the other stuff that comes on the other side of it doesn't always translate. I'm not saying it's not going to. But it's just giving a guy $12 million is wild.
It is, but I guess so. We're saying different things, honestly, because like I do think if I got the Patrick Mahomes quarterback, he's not coaching my talent. He's coaching my fundamentals. He's coaching my ability to learn how to do these things quicker, which only helps you at the next level. That's not me running the routes against somebody.
No, I understand.
That's not me not having that kind of physical ability.
I understand that, but it's just you're evaluating a guy off of a talent that is supremely lower than what the talent he's going to face the next year. It's hard to project them. You can say your talent is really good. What if that guy just can't understand the new playbook? What if he just doesn't understand concepts?
There's your Daniel Jones,
right? And
but that's what I'm saying.
But that's a multi-billion-dollar company in the NFL that's doing that.
Football is.
They don't have a multi-million-dollar war chest to go and spend money. That's part of the NIL thing.
No, they do. If you have the right alumni, they have
Right.
people that can donate as much money as they choose.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
where
But
the
if they
two
go down
systems
to a
get-
bus, they're not just going to keep throwing it in there. If you're going to keep drafting the wrong guys, they're not developing them. They're not just going to give that to you.
But here's the thing. We started this whole conversation by saying it ain't the best business move. And I think that's where the ones that are putting into this NIL or putting into this, the collective, however you want to look at it, the schools that are paying the most money and that are getting the top dollar players, they're approaching it like that. This ain't a business move.
I'm not
This
trying to
is
make
literally me trying to give to you. You're welcome. But you don't really have to. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't have to put my name on Front Street on anything. But here it is. Go get the best.
No, look,
that's how people are approaching it.
I understand
yeah.
that 100%. I'm just saying that it's not the same as going to the NFL. That's not the same at all.
No, I'm saying they're evaluating the talent.
But it's completely different evaluation.
You can say that, but you're wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but you can be wrong, but they're still doing it that way.
Yeah, I know, but it's not the same type of evaluation.
It doesn't matter.
You're,
like, what are you talking about? They're looking at him and say, I think he's worth this much.
yeah, you can say that for sure.
There's no slot pick. It's just like, what's the number?
He got paid more than probably twice as much as anyone else got paid in the portal, right? Fine. Right? It got a bidding war. Michigan had to keep him home. They did what they needed to do, right? You're going to go there and you're going to give this kid. My point in saying, if you want to talk about it's like the NFL, it's not, because the evaluation part of it is it's all on potential, right? It's all on, hey, we think you did this against subpar competition. We think that you're going to do this in college because you're super talented. Awesome. That's fine, right? Let's put the other part of it. Let's say, oh, we give this guy $12 million. He's never had money in his life. He's 18 years old. Is he going to be as motivated as he was to go out there and develop and be the guy he needs to be? Or is he going to be okay with the money? I'm not just talking about Bryce. I'm talking about everybody in general. That's another issue that you got. You go there and you give this guy money. He's never had it. He's never had this stuff. So what if he's just not as motivated?
Here's why I differ, because I hear what you're saying, but we're also thinking of this in a vacuum, in a sense of like as if everyone in the league comes out of the SEC or they come out of. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me ask you this. How do you know that a Trey Lance would be good and we're going to draft him third overall? How do you know that a Ben Roethlisberger is?
You don't.
So why is that any different than how they're looking at these high school players when they say you get 12 because Trey gets in the league, he's going to get 35?
Because you are playing against guys, you're evaluating talent off of guys that are at the same type of level at a high level. The gap between college and high school is so much.
Trey Lance went to North Dakota
I understand,
State.
but it's still college football. You are going to play. How many bad high school football teams are there around there that may have one?
I'm not saying he shouldn't have got drafted, but my point is he's getting drafted third overall. We're not evaluating him.
I understand that. I do.
So we're not evaluating him off of who he's playing against. We're evaluating off of, hey, what does he actually do?
What
does he have?
Right, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, then
it did with Ben Roethlisberger. He went to damn Miami of Ohio. Who was he playing?
And that's fine. That happens. But my point is you're
it's a calculated risk.
Yeah.
You're evaluating guys who are playing at a higher level against higher competition. My point is the gap between high school and college is so much wider than the gap between college and the NFL.
But that's why I think one's getting paid 35 and this one is broke the bank but gotten paid 12.
I understand that.
That's why I think that's that way,
I understand
too.
what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I just don't think that the evaluation is the same as evaluating someone at a high college going to the pro. I know what you're saying. And yes, some guy you're going to evaluate off of talent and based off of potential. And some of those guys don't pan out. A lot of those guys don't pan out. Some of them do, right? But coming out of high school, it's a lot harder to evaluate these guys that come out of here. And you're giving a 17-year-old, 18-year-old all this money. He's never had it before in his life.
You're doing that when you go to the NFL.
No, you're not. You're doing a 21-year-old. You're doing it someone who's been through college, who's developed a little bit more as a human being. And I've played with guys who've gotten all this money and suck because I got paid. I'm good. I don't got to work hard anymore. I don't got to do shit. I got money in my pocket for the first time. I'm good. My point in saying this isn't even about Underwood anymore.
I know you're talking about the
This is
actual
just
thing.
about the situation of these high school kids you shouldn't be paying I'm all for NIL. You could pay Bryce Underwood $12 million. Nico, whatever his last name is, should get $12 million if you want to pay him based off of what do you think he did in college. It's just hard for me to
I think
justify.
he got that out of high school.
I think
but based off of what he's done, based off what he does in college, right? Like if he goes and he's an all freshman All-American, I understand paying him.
I think if they would have just they try to the way this whole thing is kind of
He
going
didn't
is
get $12 million out of high school.
You got 8.
the way this
think
thing
it's
is
12.
going is they've masked it as name, image, and likeness. If you would have just said free agency or called it anything like that, I think everybody would have gotten off the idea that it's not the same. Because if you're talking about name, image, and likeness, well, that has absolutely nothing to do with potential and production. That alone has nothing to do with it. So the fact that this has all got convoluted and it's all in the same pool is where it becomes a problem, because like you said, when we're taking a high school kid and we're paying them all this money, we ain't paying them off of name, image, and likeness. They're paying him because they expect him and they want him to actually do this. But like you said, the gap of who you're competing against and the gap of who you're going to compete against is different.
Yep.
So like that part I get. It's just
all I'm saying.
it's all been masked under the same thing,
Yeah.
and it ain't the same thing. This basically is what we're saying.
We weren't disagreeing. That's my opinion on it. It's like it's not, the evaluation system is not the same. I mean, you can evaluate it based off the same concepts.
I'm be honest with you. I think it is. I just think that the gap is bigger. I think they're using the same type of things to say, can he play here? But the gap is bigger.
Right, and but the gap being that big makes it unbelievably more difficult, which makes it more outrageous that they're getting all this money, because there's a lot more unknowns, there's a lot more gray, there's a lot more you don't know coming out of high school to college.
Sounds like you hate capitalism.
That's not capitalism.
That's exactly what it is. You get paid what you're worth.
You know, okay,
That's the free market, baby.
That's not capitalism. This is not capitalism. What they're doing. No.
What is it then?
It's a fucking wild, wild west, dude. This isn't capitalism. Capitalism has regulations and rules, and they have some boundaries, and they have some things that you got to kind of follow. They don't have anything to follow. This situation,
it's a free market society.
Of NIL.
It's free market.
If
I want it and I can pay for it, I can get it.
This is unlike any other business in the history of the world. Seriously.
That's true.
It is unlike any other business in the history of the world. You don't have anybody checking you. You don't have any limitations.
It's awesome.
You don't have any of this. Hey, I'm going to go and I have the most money. I'm going to go and spend the most money. I have no rules on what I can and can't do.
That part's true. I 100%.
That's all I'm saying. Like, that's ridiculous. There's no business that's ever run that way. So that's not free market to me. That's not capitalism. We fucked up and we got to figure out how to make this a little bit more right.
And that's where I ask, because I do wonder. I don't know who's in charge, because it doesn't feel like anybody's in charge. This clearly isn't. This is just a whole thing that's happening right now. Because if LSU had done it, no, I don't think we'd be bitching about it. It'd be give them 12 minutes. We got 15, 20 here.
No, my opinion would be the exact same as it is now. It doesn't mean that they're wrong for doing it.
Right.
It's just, that's my opinion on the kids getting paid this much money coming out of high school.
My real question is what will it take for somebody to actually, who steps in? Because it's not the NCAA, nobody listens to them.
There's rumors right now that they are.
But even if they do it, you have to, I guess you have to make this under a federal law.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There is.
You can't just have a commission that's Nick Saban said.
There's conversations right now that they are in legislature trying to ban the collectives, to where it's all the schools and you have revenue sharing and there's no more collectives.
Yeah, but then it just goes back to what it was before that.
Yeah, then you set it up, and then they set up the regulation part over that, right? And I don't know what the details are, but that's what they're trying to do. There's always going to be buts and this and that. That's why you get in the room and you figure it out. And it's not going to be perfect, and there's going to be people that are going to be issues with it. But right now, there's more issues about having this than not having this.
College football needs a draft.
That's the other thing. Are they going to start fucking trading guys in the middle of the season? That's basically what they're doing right now with the fucking portal.
The portal's crazy.
I mean,
and
I played 4 games and that's it.
No, we talked about it now. We talked about it on Wednesday too. The whole way the portal is set up, and people think that literally dudes are. I'm going to practice. I'm going to games. I'm going to practice, and then the portal opens, and I got on the phone all day on Tuesday and figured I'm gonna uproot my entire life, and I'm going to this place on Thursday.
Oh, the first time I talked to him.
No, that doesn't. It's not happening that way, and it hasn't been happening that way. But it's crazy that that's the perception that people have of how this thing is going right now.
Ignorance is bliss. If you want to believe that, everybody's following the rules, damn, he hopped in the portal. It's he's already signed. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I thought he got in 6 hours ago.
Convince me that
he knows
quickly?
He wants to go there. What they giving him like that?
Everybody wants to give all these kids. You get all the decisions. You can make whatever decision. They control you. They do this. They do this. It's just to me, it's outrageous because everything that you do, unless you own your own business, even if you do own your own business, you have to abide by the regulations of the business world, right? And right now there is none. And so you have these kids making all these decisions and you're just letting them run free. It's like there's got to be some sort of saying, hey, okay, you can make your decisions and you can leave if you want, but you can't do it 17 times. You can do it one time or whatever it is. I don't know. I told you, we didn't have enough time to talk about all this.
Or you could be like, Jakeem Stewart, and like, I'm going to school. No, I'm not. Hold on. I'm ineligible because I'm trading school, so I can be able to be in the portal.
Hopefully you come to LSU.
Graduate early.
But Michigan's offering
and I
him.
played 10 games of high school football.
Yep.
I hope he comes here, though.
I do hope he comes here.
There's $6 million for you.
It's a wild world right now.
It is
This
wild.
is all. I mean, I think it's great.
It's wild. It's not great.
If you just need more money.
They'll rein this thing in at some point.
Yeah, that's what they have to do.
Ooh.
Go ahead and bring this back. That'll happen at some point. But for the kids right now, you can't.
You can't blame anybody for getting a bag. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Can't blame 'em.
The way the NFL was structured for a long time, like you don't think Oakland was like, should we give Jamarcus Russell $60 million guaranteed? Like,
No, that's why they changed it.
that's what I'm saying.
No.
That's exactly why
They
they
thought they
changed it.
should, 100%.
Yeah,
and
right.
then after he did what they did, they're like, wait, we can't get
The
ski-
whole
that's-
NFL
we
keeps
can't get ski
changing.
masks
That
like
is
this.
why they changed it.
That's what I'm saying. But where
And
you are
so-
right now is like you thought.
But
that's what
the
he was
NFL
worth.
was people forget about that. The NFL was at that point too where the Jamarcuses and like other guys were coming in, Sam Bradford, they were coming in making more money than stars are.
Right.
Yeah.
Like legit star, and they hadn't taken a down yet in the NFL, and that's where guys were like, wait, time out. If this don't pan out, like this one didn't. What's going on here? We can't keep doing that. So that's
Kick it
how
out,
that got
shoot
that
it.
way.
And then look how it changed the dynamic of the league. Where now, if you hit on like the Seattle Seahawks are probably the best example. Like you hit on Russell Wilson in the third round, don't have to like. You got a young rookie quarterback on a contract that can play. Like I could pay everybody else.
You talk about the Seahawks, you can talk about.
But that's the
Cowboys
model
for a while.
Yeah.
Right now, the 49ers, but that's what it is. You know.
And even the 49ers had to pay.
And honestly, timeout. You can only have to go there because I don't know the exact number, but I think like the top of the draft. Because you're saying those numbers, but even you go back to the top of the top of the draft now, it's either 25 or 30 that I think
32,
Caleb got.
yeah.
That's not even the median for the top 10% of quarterbacks. Like Dak was getting 40 before he signed this deal. So you're not even making that money. You know what I mean? So like those guys are still not. It was at a point at that time in the draft where those guys were getting paid more than the veterans who were stars, and that's where the problem was because it was like, well, if it don't pan out, this looks bad. This is not a good look, and that's where they had to fix it, and that's what they've done. So it's not even about the mid round quarterback that you go get. It's
I was
literally
just saying how the dynamic changed in the NFL.
that dynamic's always been there. That's my point. It's it was literally Jamarcus comes out, whoever comes out, they get paid this amount of money, and he's making more money than the guys that are at the top of the position right now. That's what can't happen.
Right.
So, Xavier Legette, 32nd overall pick, guaranteed. Because all first-round picks, aren't they all guaranteed money? Mm-hmm. Xavier Legette, 32nd overall, first round, $12.4 million is what he's guaranteed. Right? So, they are projecting Bryce Underwood to be a first-rounder. 32nd pick is what they paid him.
Well, yeah, it's over 4 years.
Yeah.
This isn't 12.4 is not what he's getting his first year. That's his rookie
That's what I'm
contract.
saying.
Which is 4 years.
That's what I'm saying. It's like in the rookie contract, 4 years with a fifth year.
That's what I'm saying. So
he's getting it for 3 with the 4th-year option.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
He's not getting now. He's not. I mean,
No, you
he's
gotta
not getting the $5.8 million signing bonus.
If you
but
could do like a fantasy draft and you played auction style, and if you could get Bryce Underwood for $12 million right now, or if you have to wait and see what you could get him after 3 years of college, you would take $12 million right now.
I think it's fair. I'm just being like,
sure. No, listen, I get
think
what
that
the value is. It's wild that's where we're at.
And it stinks.
What?
I've been left at the altar so many times with LSU football. God damn it.
Ain't nothing they can do about this one. This one goes.
No,
this
that's
one
what I'm saying. It ain't nobody's fault.
Goes a little bit over. So all the fans that are mad at the kids, go ahead, get
I don't think anybody's.
I'm not mad. I told him
No,
I would
I
do
don't
the same
think we
thing.
are. But we know that
Yeah.
we know our fan base. Come
Yeah.
on now. There's some people that ain't looking at this very, very straight.
You're telling me they're not seeing it with.
There's some people that ain't looking at it very straight. Man, go ahead and get a ball that.
I would 100% do the same thing he did. Nah, I wouldn't want to play in Michigan. It's fucking freezing. But he's from there, so I get it.
He
But
gets it. He knows it. He knows
Yeah.
what that's about.
But
I just would imagine that he was. I imagine it that this man was legit for 300 something days,
Committed.
completely committed. And then once he got that phone call and said, "Hey, dog, we gonna 10.5 we got.
And
to.
honestly, I think deep down he probably still wishes he was coming to LSU.
Oh yeah, I think he hung up the phone and was like, "Well, this is no longer a decision on what this is. This
A
is
family
different.
decision.
This is completely. He is by far the breadwinner in that family.
Yeah.
I have no clue what his mom, dad, or any of his close family. He's the breadwinner in that family.
And look,
Becomes
part of-
completely
and look,
different.
And I don't know his family. From what I've been told, they're pretty good. They're good people. I don't know anything about them. But man, I also feel bad for these kids getting paid all this money and getting taken advantage of by their families. Like that sucks. It happens in the NFL. That's why all these guys go broke because they're helping all their families, and it's a lottery ticket for their families. And now they're getting it at 17. How can you tell your mom and dad no?
But
Or
it's
your
not
uncles
even
and your
getting
cousins.
like I wouldn't say like quote unquote getting taken advantage of. It's like being coerced into, hey, this is big for everybody.
100% taking
Like,
advantage.
yeah,
of.
it's like, but you're making like I hate the fact that because of the way that you grew up watching college football and what it was, you're committing to a school because you liked it, you understood what they were selling you. This is the best decision for me. Now it's become, buddy, like this is $12 million. Like they didn't know. I don't care where you want to go. This is where you're going.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. Like, damn, I don't even want to be here.
Huh?
No. $12 million says, I guess you will. And
That's the other.
and
That's,
these
that's
guys,
a
like,
whole another part of it, right?
And
Like,
he'll be able, like, I don't know what Michigan, they had to do it, right? Like, if you're Michigan and you have that caliber of player in your state, and it's been like, how you can't let him leave, then you get the collective together of 4 billionaires. Like, money is not the option. Like, that's not what we're trying to hurdle here. Like, how much is it? If LSU would have countered with 12, they just said, we'll do 20. We'll do 25.
Yeah, they were gonna run that up.
Yeah, I mean, like,
of
it
course.
was gonna not.
It was a run it up until we run you dry or we get the guy. Like it was. That's pretty much what it was gonna be.
right.
So I don't
That's
makes it tough.
That's what you have to worry about with, like, I didn't even know Michigan had money like that.
because that's because like we said, until there is a cap, you may run into these situations.
Yeah,
Like,
I
that's
mean,
just what it's gonna be.
Like Phil Knight could say, "I'll pay you $100 million," and it wouldn't bother him at all. I'll just make another shoe. Like it's self-sustaining for people like that, where it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if Mark Cuban wanted to get involved with Indiana football because he went there and played rugby, he's like, "Oh, I'll cut a check for $500 million."
And here's the deal. The beauty of this, and this is probably something else. And I'm gonna say this piece, and then we're gonna go to the betting portion.
Ah,
of it.
yes, the things that this is how we get Bryce Underwood. If we hit enough on the
yeah.
parlays enough times.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought. What we were talking about right before that.
Big donors paying big contracts.
And so the other part of this is like, some of these guys don't want to pay, right? And say, oh, I do business around the country with other schools or other things, and maybe they don't want to get looked at. Nobody ever has to know your name. That's the other thing, right? So like, hey, I'm going to give you $35 million because I'm worth $15 billion, and it's anonymous. Nobody knows who gave it to you. So you can keep going about your daily life, and nobody needs to know, and you don't have to ruffle any feathers about you giving money to a school that you belong to, and not giving it to their school, and then you're good. That's the other thing. There's no accountability and responsibility. You don't have to do it, which that's the other thing.
At LSU, it feels like you have to do it.
No. Just
You don't need to know the names.
No, like anywhere.
I'm
Well,
saying like you feel financially obligated to donate to LSU for the things that you want from LSU. Not even player side. It's like you need TAF points and all of this, and it becomes a burden. It's like now you're going back into my pocket for.
Well, that's the other part of it, right? Like the people who give the money to TAF, like they're not giving. Like people that give money to TAF don't have all the money in the world. Some of them have a lot of money.
Right.
But you're not going to give money to TAF because I want to get on the sweets list to get.
You're giving it because you like LSU.
But then I also want to give money because I want to win an NIL. There's got to be a benefit to both. There's got to be a benefit. If I give money to NIL, I get benefits with TAF and all the other shit.
Or you have people that aren't looking for benefits at all, except for I want to see my football team win.
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
Everybody.
So
wants
like, if I throw Portnoy's name out there, I don't know for sure. I'm sure they're hooking something up when it comes to that suite
doubt.
and or what's in the suite and or
No doubt.
how he gets to and from the.
or how they promote high noons.
Something's
something.
being hooked up in this situation. But my point is, it wasn't a. Hey, I got $3 million to add to this, and whoever's on it, and now I need you to be on Barstool 3 times a week and do like they're not doing that. So like this isn't really a business move. It is I'm doing this for the love of this university, and I want to see them do well because whatever. I do think that you can see the thought process of this is super beneficial for my business, and they're giving the money for that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about how we're gonna make money in the gambling world.
It won't be $12 million, but we'll
No, I would love
Not
to.
yet, not yet.
Oh boy, that'd be great if we got 12 million.
Oh, another billionaire, Larry Ellison, one of the richest men in the world. His wife went to Michigan, so he decided he would cough up some money.
It's great. We got a lot of. Look. There's multiple billionaires or almost billionaires that are still alive and still very much involved or still very much love LSU.
Imagine being a billionaire and somebody being like, "I'm a 100 billionaire." Like, your money still don't matter to me.
Listen,
Like,
if you're a billionaire and you gave, I mean, you could give $10 million.
that's $10.
It's nothing.
Yeah, it's $100. Like, ooh, I dropped it. It's not worth my time to pick it up.
And you're not retired. and you're not retired.
No, your money's making
So you're
money.
still making money on it.
Yeah, like I'll get this back tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's,
Anyway,
that's
that's
basically
so
the
awesome.
Broncos owner to the rest of the NFL. But
All right.
anyway,
What games do we like? Before we get to our parlay, you want to get straight to the parlay because we kind of have to.
Yeah, if we have to jet.
Yep. All right.
Because I know 3 games we like.
There's a lot of games that I like. Obviously, last week I won some money. I like to win a lot more money this week. But we have our mic'd up 3-game parlay, 3-leg parlay that we're trying to win 2 in a row. Get back on a winning streak. I think I sent it to you. I believe
I do.
sent it to you.
I am
Okay,
pulling
perfect.
it up right now.
We like this one. It is the lowest odds out of any of the 3-game parlays that we've had so far to date.
still good odds.
Still good. No, still great odds.
Still a parlay.
Yeah, it's plus 556. So it's still good odds. We've gotten over this. We've got to the 600 marks, plus 612. I really like the numbers on this. First one up is the Colorado Buffaloes. There's been 3 or 4 teams this year that we have bet a lot on. Navy was one early on in the season. We've kind of backed off of Navy.
You got to know when to get off the horse.
You got to know when to get
Boston
off the
College,
horse.
road.
Boston College early in the season.
Got off that horse.
We've been riding Colorado a few times. We've had Colorado on this thing a few times with the over, which has hit. I took Colorado minus 2.5 at Kansas. I'm sure the weather's going to be a little blizzardy just because I feel like that's everywhere in the Midwest right now. Kansas has been upsetting a bunch of people. I think
Called it last week.
I think their luck's going to run out, and I think Colorado is kind of on that mission. I like the 2.5 too. I think Colorado is on a trajectory to be in the Big 12 championship game. I also like the over in this game, but 2.5 Colorado minus 2.5.
What's the
is
over?
my pick. I want to say it's like 59.
Yeah, it's high. I remember.
I still like the
pretty
over
high.
though.
That's a hard number for me to just get behind anyway. But
I think last week was 62.5. I took it, hit it.
Yeah, that's like
62.5.
you are signing up for absolutely pandemonium every time you bet on Colorado. I don't know,
Which I love that.
Right. It's not like there's no guarantees in anything in life, but Colorado is certainly one thing that you're like, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. That's high. The second one we got here is Ole Miss at Florida. Look, I'm going to keep this thing simple. I don't want to make it anything crazy, but look, I expect Florida to be sitting in that 14 to 20 point range at bare minimum, right? I do think they have that going for them. But on the other side of it, I think Ole Miss is on an absolute mission right now, and I do think they are one of the best teams in the country and in this league. And I think they're trying to prove a point about all of that as well, and I do think they're going to go there and run the score up. To what degree of a win that is, I'm not sure, but I expect that to happen. I like the over 55 right here. I think that hits.
Lane doesn't stop. He doesn't wave the white flag for you.
Oh,
He's
no,
like,
listen.
hey, these
Hey,
plays,
listen.
it's not my fault.
No. He's trying to play him. He's trying to play that team's way back into respect. I mean, honestly, if you think about back when they came to LSU, he was over here going for it on 4th downs instead of taking points when he had opportunities to actually kind of put the game in a tough spot for LSU at that time. So I think he's really started. He's still in that mindset where he wants to improve a point, and that team's playing better. They're a little bit healthier than they were. Yeah, I see this a spot where they hit this over.
The last pick, the last leg, if you will.
I'm so happy you didn't take Vandy. I didn't want you to take Vandy.
Oh, that
I was going to let you do it.
I know, but like I said, what do they say in the vows for whenever you get married? Love conquers all.
Is that what they say in the vows?
I think so.
Wow, look at LSU, 18-16.
Oh, I took LSU.
What was it? What was
7.5.
it?
I
don't know if I love that one.
plus 7.5. Well, what's the score? 16
No,
to 18.
it's good right now. But
about 5.5 points.
I thought that it
I think it was low.
It's kind of a home game for Pitt. So
Well,
even though
they're also a home game for LSU, or at least Louisiana people. This is where the Greenbrier. This is where New Orleans would go for training camp.
yeah.
A lot of ties there. You might have family. Who knows?
Yeah.
Boone County Maton call, shake them pills, baby. That's why Sean Payton loved it there.
Okay.
Indiana
Okay.
Hoosiers
Wow.
plus 10.5. This is strictly based off of what I saw against Penn State. Not very excited to see Ohio State still in the mix. Indiana has been an absolute wagon. They get a little scare. The biggest point I can make, Ohio State, as we've seen with LSU, the center position matters. Ohio State loses their starting center, 4-year starter, to a Achilles in practice. So now you have a new center against an Indiana Hoosiers team who thinks they can probably play with you. Now, this will prove a lot. They know this game's going to be made to mean a lot.
I'm excited to watch
And you
that
get 10.5.
quarterback.
Is that the big noon game?
I'm excited to watch the quarterback for Indiana. This is going to be a good game for him to go out there because he's been good, and I want to see how good he is.
Well, the
against an Ohio
offense is
State
good
team.
because they played without Nathan Rourke, and they've still boat race people.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I like that. Plus 556. Go and tail us. Listen,
If you have to pick one,
if you've stayed with us all year on these parlays, you'd have made some money.
Yeah, you're
Right?
right. Yeah.
If you try to go,
You're on plus money right now.
Yeah.
If
If you
you
just
fade
try to,
every pick-
try to pick it, if you try to pick one week that you like or not, you probably don't have it. But if you stick with us, gambling's a long-term thing.
Consistency is
Consistency, baby. I think we've won 7 of them.
key. Yeah.
So
It's only been 10 weeks.
yep, that's a
11
lot.
weeks. We're going to week. Yeah.
It's a lot. Maybe six or 7. I think 7. Hopefully 8. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, or enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the football game. It's gonna be nice, or a little chilly, which will be feel nice.
Hold
We're
on,
not
I
gonna
do
be
have a
sweating.
mistake of the day.
Oh yeah, we do have. Mistake of the day brought to you by our friends at Dozy Place. I'm sorry, I forgot the segment.
It's okay if I didn't have one, I wouldn't have brought it up. But have you been Doe's Eat Place? Mistake of the day, and you know who needs a nice cold dough steak before they cook it to the perfect temperature and bring it out to you? Is Jay Leno on his eye?
Oh, I know.
And there's a lot of rumors. Look how bad this is. Oh my God.
No, what? How you say he fell down a 30-foot cliff or like a hill?
This is where tinfoil hat comes to play. I think he got the shit kicked out of him by a bookie. Like, this is the rumor that's going on the internet, and it's starting to make a lot of sense. People are diving into his past where he fell off of a motorcycle but had 2 broken kneecaps. Like, I don't think that you just fall and hit one side of your face whenever you fall down a 60-foot
Yeah, you
cliff.
roll.
You're right. Like, you would have some other injuries, right? This looks like, and he missed somebody pulled a fingernail fell out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, that's very bookie-esque of, like, I'm taking your fingernail, which I'd rather you hit me 10 times in the eye than pull my fingernail out.
Wow.
So I think Jay Leno might be degenerate. And if you want, Jay, hop on the parlay. And so you don't have to look like this.
That's a tough look,
That's
dude.
tough.
And he went and did if you think he's hurting for money, which he shouldn't be, he went and performed the same night.
Performed.
He went and did a stand-up.
Oh yeah, he does a stand-up, doesn't he?
Like, there's no way this man stayed at a Ramada Inn.
No.
And that's where he was. I think, Jay might be in down
Yeah,
bad.
he's struggling right now. That's tough. That's tough. He's struggling.
It's refreshing. It's good to know that the world's healing whenever a bookie can still get his hands on you and just beat the shit out of you. You're like, I fell down the hill.
Yeah, we're still there.
I'm terrified.
We're still there. All right, curtain call brought to you by our friends at Perkins McKenzie. What we got, Tay, for curtain calls?
Lloyd?
Oh, my curtain call is to, and this is not a great one, but it is true, or at least it can be, Connor Stallion's all-time run.
You're right.
He goes to Michigan.
2 high school football teams in 1 year is wild.
Well, yeah, he goes to Michigan, wins the national championship, gets essentially let go.
No, it does
Bryce,
look like that.
Then he goes and coaches.
Yeah,
Then he goes and recruits.
Then he
Yeah,
gets beat 76-0.
Yeah.
Then he goes and recruits because that's what. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. That's what he did at the second school.
That's what I was about to say. Then he gets the opportunity. Like, he's got to be Michigan lore at this point. Like, he's accredited for like some of the national championship when he's an assistant. That doesn't happen. And then he goes to a high school where Bryce Underwood is, and then you get Bryce Underwood. Michigan's like, Connor Steins is the GOAT.
He's the guy. How can we keep him around? Because we obviously can't put him on payroll.
Yeah. Like, who's the next best player in Michigan? He's going to that high school.
Oh man, yeah, that's a good one.
What you got, Jay?
I mean, are you gonna do
We do it together?
the Jameis?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
My curtain call is to the one
Jameis.
and only Jameis Winston. Actually, me and Jared's curtain call is to Jameis Winston. Before the Thursday night football game last night, they had a whole special on Jameis Winston's speeches, which is obviously awesome. He's entertaining. He's one of a kind. He's one of one. But everybody loves him. He's very genuine. And so they kind of had a special on that. And then they interviewed him coming out of the locker room before the game, and it was perfect. Like, just he landed, right? Another Jameis Winston speech, another Jameis like interview, and then after the game, after he leads the comeback win on the road against Pittsburgh, he comes in. They have another one, and he ends it with Jameis is doing only what Jameis can do, going out there and making the whole Thursday night football crew go do snow angels in the snow on the field.
Oh, fuck.
What?
Another under-the-radar figure who helped Michigan land Bryce Underwood. Who do you think that might be?
Connor Stallions.
Tom Brady.
Gave him some money?
I don't know. I have
Nah, he just called him.
Maybe he just called him, yeah.
for sure. But I mean, he doesn't.
That's an old play. People
Yeah.
have been doing that forever.
Yeah, I mean,
That wasn't like curtain call interrupting, but
No.
no. I mean, I just.
But anyway, add the video of the Snow Angels on there.
Oh, here it is. That's what I was looking for. And just the news the hits keep coming, whether it be Ryan Perlew, Tyrann Matthew.
Ryan Perlew came here, though.
Yeah, that makes it almost worse. I got to see it. Tyrann Matthew.
Have you ever done Snow Angels?
Let's do it.
Oh, no, where?
Let's go, Tony.
That's what I said. You got the whole crew.
Tony didn't do it.
Oh, who's the host? Carissa Thompson.
Tony didn't do it. Tony was like, I'm too cold. You see him kicking snow back?
Tony couldn't even do the interviews.
Hey, Tony's gotten to a point to where, like, post-career, he's like, bro, I don't deal with this weather stuff, which is crazy to me because this man played in Kansas City.
Tony was. They were talking to
he's
him, and he was
been
so cold he just stopped talking.
Tony has been.
He's, I can't even talk.
I don't know if y'all have seen him. He's been in like long sleeves and stuff like this since September. Like he ain't messing with the cold weather, bro.
So he
does not vibe with it.
He don't want to show his new tattoos that
he don't vibe with it.
And Whitworth is the opposite. In the middle of the dead heat of summer, he's wearing his hoodie.
Yep.
And the suit jacket.
And in the coldest game, he had no hoodie, no hat, no nothing. He didn't care.
Offensive lineman.
All right, that's all we got. You going to the game?
Yeah.
I'll be out there. I'll see you out there.
You're not going to the game. You're going
Maybe.
tailgating.
Maybe go out the game, though. You never know.
It's going to be a sight to see either
Maybe
way.
Maybe
or maybe not. Maybe people will just be apathetic to the whole thing.
Jared, you're not going.
Oh, I don't know.
He don't know yet. All right. Hey, everybody, enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the game.
What's the worst part?
The weather's going to be great.
What's the worst game you've been to in Tiger Stadium when it was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh, there's been a lot.
Like if Les had lost to Texas A&M on his way out, I think even then he would still like, oh, it's his last game.
No, there's a lot of games that I was like, what the hell are we doing?
Like what?
I mean, I don't know. We got.
Because I think this has an all-time fever pitch moment. I think if it starts off like 13-0 with a 3-and-out or an interception,
There's gonna be a lot of boo birds.
Oh, they'll throw shit on the field again.
Yeah, that
all of
that
doesn't help anybody. I don't want it to happen.
No, that doesn't even happen.
The tone and tenor around the program is terrible right
now.
No,
it's not great.
And I wish it were different because I like it to be positive here.
No doubt.
You've influenced me in a lot of ways, and that's one of them. Optimism is great.
And listen, that's why these last two games need to happen. Be good because
if they don't, I don't even know what happens.
You end the season 8-4, and you figure out a way to keep that recruiting class intact. At least you got something to like. All right. We'll see y'all this weekend. Enjoy the weather. We appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't like watching us, but you like listening to us or anywhere you get your pods. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. See you on Monday live in studio from 6 to 8 p.m. Enjoy the weekend. Peace.
I'm not going live again. I think we're done for the weekend.
You think?